now entering the Horror Sanctum.
Hello, and welcome back to the Horror Sanctum podcast. I'm Jay with John, Kellen, and TJ, and welcome to our first episode of 2026. Hold for applause. It's cold outside, so I think all month long we're going to be talking about chilly movies. Today's movie, which if you're watching, you already can kind of pick up on what we're going to be talking about. Um, we're going to be talking. It's actually a sequel, and it's given my OCD fits because we haven't done the original yet. I'm sure we will eventually, because I think it is a classic in my mind. But here we are, nonetheless. This week we're talking about 2025's Black Phone 2, directed by Scott Derrickson. If you're not familiar, here we go. Bad dreams haunt 15-year-old Gwen as she receives calls from the black phone that sees disturbing visions of three boys being stalked at a winter camp. Accompanied by her brother Finn, they head to the camp to solve the mystery, only to confront the Grabber, a killer who's grown even more powerful in death. And as always, spoilers.
So it was very nice to revisit and see Nightmare on Elm Street Winter Break edition. This was a nice movie. I'm a little mixed on this movie overall. I guess I'll start out with the good stuff. It starts out with the 1980s Universal logo. That's always cool. It's nice to see people doing that more now. For a while, it felt like they didn't understand how to do that. Sometimes I would see movies where they would actually do a redone edition of that, and I'm like, just take the logo you had and do it. So they figured it out. The winter setting in this movie is great. It's a sequel to the first one. I didn't expect a sequel to the first one. I did like the first one. I thought the first one was pretty creepy, pretty original. I really enjoyed it for me. The winter setting is nice. It gives like a good vibe to the movie. It's a good movie that you can put on in the background and play. Like if you were working or if you just need something going, this is the kind of movie you just sit on, you have it going, you have audio, you look at it some, it's fine. Much like Night Swim. The problem is if you focus too much on the plot or you watch the movie, that's where it kind of falls apart a bit.
Your brother's going to be like, why do I keep catching strays?
That's right. Um, I don't remember Night Flight on TV. Do you guys remember that 80s show that he's watching? Finn is watching a show called Night Flight. I don't remember
I
that.
don't remember it, but we've talked in the chat, in the group chat before, and there is a page. I guess it's the official Nightflower, or it's someone who was a fan. So it's a fun follow if you don't. There is an Instagram page that keeps up with it. But no, that was not something I was familiar with.
What even is it? I've heard of it. I don't know what it is.
It's like an American bandstand. I don't know. It was like a music video thing in the 80s, but I guess it was before us.
It gave me like some
1981
MTV
TV
vibes.
series.
Yeah.
It says it went till 2018. How's that even possible?
Yeah, it was cool. It made me kind of go down a rabbit hole. I didn't know. Of course, I think us being millennials, it could have been like, we might have been babies when that was on, so we probably didn't see it. But I think I will say another good thing about the movie, the Dream World 16 millimeter idea when Gwen is like kind of seeing the victims and the grabber. That's a good idea. I thought that was cool. It kind of
Okay,
was a split.
so since you said that, Scott Derrickson loves that shit.
He does.
Sinister, Sinister 2, same
Right.
thing. And that kind of took me out of it. Like I understand what he was going for, but I'm like, he does this in all his movies. That's like my
Mhm.
second note. You already know what my first note is, which we'll get to when it's my turn. But like that was my second note. Like he loves those grainy cutaway scenes. Like whether
Yeah,
it's a flashback, dream sequence, whatever. So yeah.
yeah, he kind of that's his default. He did it in like all of his movies. I think where the movie really is a problem is it's not very coherent in the plot. And like I know Jay, you're going to talk about this like the rules. There's not really any rules, right? It's clear that Scott Derrickson wanted to make a Freddy Krueger type of villain. He wanted to make a Nightmare on Elm Street type of villain. He's taken a lot of things in the movie that are like Freddy Krueger. But he doesn't really set the rules like Freddy Krueger to where the humans can interact with the grabber in the real world. They can interact with him in the dream world. Why is the grabber alive? How was he alive? How does he have special powers? It's a lot of these questions you don't really get an answer for. I mean, even at the beginning, you see Gwen sleepwalking, and she sleepwalks to the grabber's house, and it's like, how the hell does she sleepwalk all the way down the street to the grabber's house that somehow is accessible by the entire neighborhood? You can just walk in there. Okay, it was a serial killer's house. Oh yeah, so you can just go in there and you somehow sleepwalk into there, and then Fanny finds her. It's just like that's the kind of stuff that in the movie it looks cool, but when you break it down, you're just like, that's fucking stupid. Like, why would you write that? That's dumb. Why is there a Christian winter camp? What is a Christian winter camp? Is it 2 weeks long? What the hell is that? I've never in my life heard of something like that. Why, another thing, why is it that when Gwen is seeing the victims, why are they scaring her? Is it the grabber creating nightmares, or are they trying, like, why would they want to scare her if they want her to help them? Why would they be like, oh, I'm gonna fucking scare you and cut my head off? Like, why would you do that if you're needing help from somebody?
Like, please help.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let me give you a heart attack. Oh yeah, by the way, I need you to solve my
They're like
murder,
homeless.
right?
They're like homeless people, right?
Well, they
Like,
did in The Sixth Sense, right?
It doesn't justify it. I'm just saying it's a dumb idea. I mean, and then you've got, the church lady in the movie who's like a Karen. I mean, she was awful. A lot of the other characters were fine. Gwen was fine. Finney was fine. The twin brother was fine from the first movie that died. The caretaker or the head counselor guy, the Spanish guy, I thought he was going to be like in with it with the grabber. I thought he was going to be like an accomplice. They kind of missed the ball not having that happen because otherwise he was just there. The thing about the grabber, I'll say, is in the first movie, he's creepy. And I think it's because he's human and you get to see Ethan Hawke and you kind of see like this guy is like a straight up creep or pedophile, right? He's not really scary to me in this movie at all. He's not scary. Like the mask is just kind of like, okay, and there's nothing Freddy Krueger about this guy. It's like dollar store Freddy Krueger. And at the end, like when they're killing him and he's like screaming and hollering and I don't know what he's like screaming like a banshee. I was like laughing at that. I'm like, what is he doing? Like, this is not scary. This is just kind of silly, right? And unfortunately, by the end of the movie, the CGI just falls apart, right? They start trying to kill him. You see CGI shots all over the place. I don't know why they do that. They go practical so much of the movie, and then they start cutting in CGI. It's just such a weird choice with films, and you can't say it's a budget thing because sometimes it costs more to do CGI. So it's just these are the things in Hollywood that just I never really understand, and I'm sure that Scott Derrickson probably has. I'm sure he probably has to make adjustments and deal with things like that. But it's just like weird to me when you cut corners that way. I just don't understand the rules of the movie, though. I mean, it feels like he wanted to write a Freddy Krueger movie in the winter, but he doesn't want to establish rules of like, what can the grabber do? What can he not do? Who is he? How is he alive? Why did he come back? How is there a tie there supernaturally? Why is there a tie there supernaturally? I mean, it's just very loose. And like the whole ice skating thing with the grabber, that's literally just him ripping off the movie curtains. That's all that is. He literally watched the movie curtains and he was like
100% was the first thing I thought.
You don't take any bets? I bet there's one of us that has not seen that movie.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Yep. And I get it. It's a cool shot, but like, it's just like such a weird thing to hold into for a whole movie.
How'd he make the ice skates?
Yeah, how do you make the ice skates?
Like he's like Elsa. All of a sudden, like, shh! Now I can skate, boys. Look out! Like that was
It is made of ice, right?
Yeah,
Just
it
on
is.
the bottom of his feet.
Yeah.
And I don't understand what this movie is trying to be either, because it's like, is it a Christian film? Is it an anti-drug PSA film? It's like preaching the entire movie about random things, oddly, that don't make any sense. Her cussing the character Gwen, she's just like the cussing thing in the first movie was funny because she was young, she was a little kid. And it was like little kids say weird shit sometimes, but then by the time she's 16, she's still speaking like she's in a Tarantino movie. And it's like the whole fuck you with the dinosaur dick. Like that's not a real line. That's not even a plausible line. Nobody's that witty when they're 15 years old. Nobody. If they were, please write in and tell us because I don't believe you until you can prove it. I don't know.
Sorry, what was that, Grandpa? Do what? Write in?
Yeah, write in.
With your
write in.
parents'
to the post
permission,
office,
send
grab
a
some stamps,
self-addressed
some
stamped
elephant-
envelope.
Write in, send it to me. I don't know. It's just I don't hate the movie. It's one of those things I could put on, but I felt the ending wrapped up fast. It was kind of boring. There was no twist. They don't know if he's even dead by the end of the movie. It was like they just wrote a movie, they wrapped it up, nothing really happened. So it's a whole lot of meh for me. Sorry guys, I'm on a streak with the meh, but yeah.
You are. That's our fault for giving these movies to you.
It's okay.
Well, in stark contrast, I really enjoyed this movie. I mean, the first one is, I feel like most people really like the first one. It was a different thing. Ethan Hawke is a great character actor. It was a great dark role. More based in some version of reality, with the exception of the phone idea of being able to communicate with his dead victims, I guess. But it was only the potential new victims that the Finney kid that was able to actually communicate with them, right? So that was, I guess, one of the parts I didn't understand about the transition was now in the second one, he's talking through the phone. Like the kids aren't really talking through the phone anymore. He's the one that's communicating through the phone. But the phone was the thing that basically was the premise that was used to defeat him and kill him ultimately. So I didn't really. That was one of those loose ends, like John was talking about, that I didn't really understand. Like, I don't see whatever, positive force allowed that to be a thing. I don't think he could just co-opt it and then suddenly make it a malevolent thing. But I don't know. I don't know how these spirit phones work. Maybe you get to the other side, there's a bunch of pay phones, and you just dial up somebody. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe someday. But
I'm pretty sure they have Blackberries in hell.
They have to. They have to. And too big of thumbs to use the little flippy thing. Hitler definitely had Blackberry.
And a pineapple up the tuchus.
Yeah, right. I saw this one in the theater. I think I saw this before any of y'all saw this. I was actually really excited about it. I mean, surprisingly, even though on the internet you might get a skewed view of this because of the kind of tepid reception in some corners of horror cinema to this film. But like on IMDb, it's got a 6.1. The original has a 6.9. The Metascore difference is like between a 65 and a 61. People, the general populace overall thought this was a pretty solid follow-up. And I don't typically fall in line with the general populace. It's definitively not as good of a movie as the first movie. The first movie is a totally different like subgenre. Honestly, it's more of like with the exception of that one supernatural element, it's more of a true crime serial killer thriller, like in the vein of like Silence of the Lambs, something like that, trying to find the guy, right? Or like Longlegs or something. More so than just a straight up modern day ripoff, I guess, of Nightmare on Elm Street, and trying to shoehorn this character who was already dead into this thing and just making him a total supernatural force and using the element that was the only supernatural force that was like against him becoming one of his powers now. I I guess if I have any, any negatives to say about it is the things that John alluded to, and I'm sure other people will follow up on, is they don't really define the rules to it. Like clearly in the first Nightmare on Elm Street, over the course of the film, you kind of learn, oh, you have to be in your dream state for Freddy to be able to get you. Then that become a whole thing in part 2, which is often kind of forgot about, where he's wanting to come out of the dream world into the real world to be able to actually get people in the real world. Well, you don't really need to do that if you can just get people in either version of it, right? So I think the rules are a little murky, if there even are any. They're very loose rules, if there's any rules. I think the rules were, it's kind of like Freddy Krueger, but it's with the grabber. I think that was about the extent of what the rules were. But having said that, I thought the cast was solid. I like that they keep it small. That lets you really get in with the characters. I like that they showed the toll that it took on the brother to kind of shoulder what it's like to be a survivor of a tragic, traumatic event like this, and what it would be like to have communicated with all these dead kids that are the victims of this guy that you were able to defeat. It's like survivor's remorse, right? That people really have a lot. It's very isolating. And I thought that actor played that off well, to be still a young actor. But so I like the characters. I like the sister. She did have a little bit of a, almost to the obnoxious point of a potty mouth. Just, it's kind of like what John said. Like, some of those words don't fit in that frame and that mouth, But overall, I would say I enjoyed more of the film than I didn't. And my first impression of it before I started picking it apart was very positive. Not as good as the first one. I probably give the first one 4 stars. I think it's a solid film and warrants rewatches, and I think it holds up to rewatches. I feel like, since I've still only seen this one once, I feel like with rewatches, it's clear that the logic's not going to hold up. So it's not a film you watch for the logic or the sense making. It's for the experience of it. And I did find a number of the set pieces and the scenes. I like the location. I like the actors. Ethan Hawke is still great. I found him to be more creepy in some ways as a supernatural version, like when the lower half of his mask comes off and it's just like, rotten flesh, skeleton man. Was kind of a cool idea. It's almost playing more into that Freddy Krueger thing too. It's like what's behind. Well, it's also kind of like that movie Haunt, right? Where what's underneath the mask is actually more scary than the mask, but the mask is also scary and cool. And that mask is just iconic. I mean, bravo to Tom Savini. One of the last professional things he did was making that mask, and the Bray Wyatt masks. So still doing great work even in his retirement. And that mask has become, just in 4 years' time with the Halloween season, I mean, they're even selling that at Walmart. That's how iconic that mask has become. I think Jay has one, don't you?
I did, but I sold it to someone that may be on this podcast.
Oh, fair. I mean, it's a great mask. It's very iconic. Probably the most iconic mask we've gotten since the Scream mask, to be honest with you. I mean, there's not a lot that really hold up to that, just that iconography that actually does something that's different, and the ability on some of them, the better ones, to actually change the expression on the lower half. I've always thought that was a cool idea. But I love the icy setting. For some reason, anything when you isolate people and you put them out in a snowstorm in the middle of nowhere, just like The Thing. It's like it's that unique kind of creepy because you can't really see beyond the snow. It's almost like you don't know what's just beyond the periphery of your vision, and it's got that cool, almost Christmassy type vibe, even though this come out in the summer. But there's snow horror is a underappreciated genre, I think. It's not Christmas horror, but just like horror that is in cold places it's extra isolating. And when it was intended to be an isolating, small, just a handful of character story, I think that adds to it to me, for just the feel of it. But having said it took forever for the grabber to even show up. Isn't it like over an hour into the movie before you even see the grabber? I guess that would be another mark against it, because you're going into Black Phone 2, and who's on the cover? It's Ethan Hawke. It's the mask. It's the guys that's what you're going to see. We could have seen it at least 30 minutes into. Yeah, we didn't need the whole first half of the movie to set up him coming back. We know from the trailer he's coming back. We know from the poster he's coming back. So I guess getting to it a little quicker would have been more to my liking. But after Ethan Hawke shows up and the kid answers the phone at the camp, I'm like, everything after that point I'm here for. Yes, half of it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't hold up to a microscope very well. But it was fun. I thought it was fun. Yes, they totally aped a scene from Curtains, 100%. And Scott Derrickson has seen Curtains. Yeah, it didn't make a lot of sense that he had some of these powers that he had and could still interact with people that weren't asleep. How's that work? I don't know. Maybe there's the phone world and there's the not phone world, and they're parallel dimensions on top of one another. I don't know. I got the sense, though, that maybe they were just hinting at a bigger lore that they will tell you in a future film, because they obviously leave that open for possibilities. And I think this film is kind of on the bubble. I think it performed decently well. So only time will tell if it gets a... if you make two, they're going to want to promote a trilogy if they can make any money out of this at all. So I would expect at least one more. And I'm here for it. I'm curious how they would expand upon this. I mean, let's be real. It's a hard 90-degree turn from where they started, and what we all thought was just a one-off movie. Just to build a franchise, you had to make this guy supernatural, right? And the best way to make him supernatural, make him like a Freddy Krueger supernatural dream thing. So, hey, we hadn't had a good Freddy movie since Freddy versus Jason's like the last Robert Englund.
Well, since the Jackie Earl Haley one, we haven't had a good one.
Oh, that was terrible. I can't even dignify that with a response. On that note, Kellen, what did you think about it?
So, 2025's Black Phone 2, hour and 54 minutes, a little on the long side. 72% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is about 10 points lower than the original, which is fair. I do think that the original is a modern classic. It did some unique things, bringing supernatural. It's almost kind of like the opposite side of A Silence of the Lambs, just without. We're not saying necessarily the detective side. We're changing that to a supernatural element. But the way it's filmed, I thought was beautiful, and this one as well. But like y'all touched on, that whole 8mm, 16mm cut, that was way too over the top in this movie. It was every scene clipped into that at some point in time. And I get that what you're trying to do, you're trying to separate reality from the supernatural, or let people know, but trust that us as the audience will figure that out fairly quickly. That we'll figure out when we're between reality and supernatural. We're not that dumb yet. And I think that's where this movie doesn't do as good as the first one. The first one, the supernatural elements are all related to the phone. There's flashbacks and things that we see, but it's more the ringing is the cue. And so we kind of go away from that a little bit because now instead of her being able to dream and have these nightmares that end up being premonitions, she's able to instantly sleep when she needs to. Like, oh, I better go check on the grabber. I don't know if that's controlled narcolepsy. I don't know if that's an actual thing, but if it is, she has it. Some of the dialogue in this movie is very cheesy, and a lot of it does come to her being over the top with the vulgarity. I think that sometimes that's weak writing, and you can tell this was not based on a book. Black Phone, the original one, based on a book by Stephen King's son. This one was not based on anything other than an idea that people had to continue the character because the first movie did so well, and obviously money's more important than story writing. So some of the dialogue is cheesy. Some of the scenes are goofy. Um, it's it's hard to be terrified of somebody when they're so smoothly skating up on you. All I could think of was like Michael Scott in The Office when he starts skating in the ice rink, and I'm just like, oh, look at him go. Buddy's got some skills. Oh, he's got an axe. Oh, I forgot he's trying to kill people. So that's a little cheesy, a little over the top. Um,
What do
there
you
was
think
some
about them trying to obviously make the axe like his Freddy glove, his weapon?
I didn't think that at all. I didn't think that was his Freddy glove. I thought the mask is his Freddy glove. And I think they portrayed that when he's going in the water, he reaches for that mask and grabs to put it on real quick. I feel like that was more of his
Like that's his
weapon
power.
of choice because he deals in fear. So, the mask, part of the mask is fear, and it is one of the most iconic modern horror masks in history. I love the fact that it's not just a solid mask, that there's different iterations of the mask, that he shows his emotions by removing the mouth and changing to no mouth or to the frowny face because you've been bad. Being able to remove the top to show a human side. It's such a brilliant, complex but simple mask, and I think that goes back to In a Violent Nature, where it was just too much. They did too much trying to create something iconic. This, again, simple is better in a lot of instances. Freddy Krueger's glove, it's just a glove with some very sharp knives on it. It's not some big over the top. It doesn't have like, drill bits and things like that. Jason Voorhees is one whole burlap sack in the second movie, and then the iconic hockey mask, the painted white William Shatner mask. I mean, just think back, and the simpler the better. Even TCM, it's still a simple mask. It's a woman's face with makeup on it. I mean, it's there. You don't have to try to reinvent the wheel. Just do something simple, and it typically works. And in the case this one does, but the problem is they establish the mask is oversized for his head early in the movie, and then when they remove the mouth, his face all of a sudden fits the entirety of what's left of the mask. So his head has grown. It reminded me of when the NFL did the concussion helmets, and they were like 1.5 sizes bigger which you don't think that half size is going to be a lot until you see them next to somebody's like, oh, there's a bobblehead on the football field. I understand. I understand the parallels that people are making with Freddy. For me, the concept behind this is way more terrifying. Like, Freddy is of all of the horror slasher antagonists has always been the most terrifying to me simply because I can stay away from Laurie Strode. I can stay away from Camp Crystal Lake. I can stay the hell out of Texas. I can't not go to sleep. Like at some point, you're going to go to sleep. This one took it to a different level because of the supernatural, where it wasn't so much that he needed sleep to kill or to attack. She needed to be asleep to see him. So it was almost like her psychic view into the underworld, the undead world, or hell, or wherever he was existing in the supernatural plane, right? Because Finney was able to attack him at the end of the movie without being able to see him. Because he's more like Patrick Swayze in Ghost than Freddy Krueger. He has the ability to touch things and move things from a supernatural perspective, than requiring a dream realm where he can be the master. He still has his abilities. It just requires her being in that sleep state to actually see him, which is what ultimately leads to his downfall. Is her being in that state, she realizes she has power over his realm, which kind of happens in the Nightmare on Elm Street movies as well, when they realize, oh, this is a dream, I can do stuff too. Um, all that to say, I like the movie. Is it as good as the first one? Absolutely not. Again, I still consider the first one is a modern horror classic, one of the best, you know, new idea horror films in the past 5 to 10 years. Um, it has a lot of flaws. It feels rushed. It definitely shows that it wasn't backed by somebody who took the time with this character, that had an idea and wanted to see it really come to fruition. There's a difference between writing a script to make money and writing a book out of passion. And you can tell in the first movie, this was an idea that he had, and he worked on it and slept with it and probably rewrote it different ways until it fit what his idea in his mind had. And this was, what if we did this with him? Oh yeah, okay, cool, we can do that. And it ends up does for me, it mimicked Sinister way more than Nightmare on Elm Street. And it is that 8 16 millimeter film shot style. Him kind of being in the shadows at points. The kids being involved. I don't know what happened to this director uh, as a kid and why he hates children so much, but he's killed a lot of them. Um, so like I said, it's got a lot of flaws, a lot of obvious flaws. But like John said, it's a movie that you can put on and just watch. You don't have to. And there's something for those kind of movies. There is a nice niche for movies where you can put on in the background and peer up every now and then, catch a scene or two, maybe a scene that you enjoyed that when you saw it the first time is coming up. But just to kind of have on, because we're all with our ADD, ADHD riddled minds, need noise in the background. Like I can't tell you, like, just sitting in the couch playing guitar, the TV has to be on. I'm not watching or paying attention to anything on it, but having that background noise helps me focus. I can't explain it. I don't know what the science behind that is, but this is one of those movies that you could have on in the background as that noise. Um, but yeah, overall, great doing it in the winter. We don't get enough. I did like the line that hell's not fire, it's ice, and he's smashing, or cold, smashing his head in the ice. But yeah, overall, it's a good movie, and I adore Ethan Hawke, so there's not much he can do wrong. It wasn't his fault because, like I said, whoever wrote this was just like, "Hey, I got an idea," and they were like, "Cool, I bet it'll make money." So yeah, that's it.
Well, that's what's wild, right? Like, so Joe Hill wanted to make this movie. Stephen King's son, who wrote the original book, he wanted to make this. He pitched the idea like the grabber calls from hell. But the writers for the film, the screenplay was Scott Derrickson and C. Robert Cargill, who did Sinister, Sinister 2, The Gorge more recently. He's a great writer.
The Gorge is surprisingly good.
That was a good movie, and it helped. They had a good cast. It helped with that. So it's kind of confusing to me. I don't understand, like, why Joe Hill's like, yeah, I got this idea, let's do it. And then why he didn't continue on. Like, I think he's an executive producer, but why didn't he continue on and help write this script? I don't understand that. Kellen, you missed a perfectly good opportunity to compare this to Halloween 4. I am very disappointed in you. With that, I want to go ahead and apologize to Vito and Lena. This was one of their top 3 horror movies of last year.
This was my honorable mention as well.
Predator Badlands is mine after watching it today. It was fantastic, which made me think too.
I didn't watch it because it's PG-13, but I'll eventually watch it.
You're over 13. You can watch it, bud. What's crazy is in Predator Badlands, if you're familiar with the Predator franchise, they have the invisibility mechanism, whatever, right? So in Predator Badlands, one of the Predators does this, and then someone else kicks up dust, and you can see and you can fight, right? Could he have done this in Black Phone? Like John said earlier, I text him. I'm like, my first note is trash. No, I'm just kidding. My first note is, what are the rules? Which makes me think of Always Sunny. If anyone has seen the Wiz episode where they switch bodies, what are the rules? What are the rules? That's what I was thinking the whole time. This is my third watch. I think I saw it in theaters as well, opening weekend. when I saw it in theaters, I'm like, this is good. Like, I like this a lot. Like, it's a very worthy sequel. The more you watch it, the less good it is. And that's because what we're doing here, we pick it, we dissect it, and we see all these little things like, well, why can she do this? How can she just fucking fall asleep whenever she wants to? Like, hey, we're on a horse and buggy. Oh, she's fighting the grabber again. Like, it's very confusing, and which is what frustrates me because, like I said, Joe Hill was involved in getting this made. Like, why didn't you just go ahead and help them stick the landing? Because this is an iconic horror villain. I have the shirt. I had the mask. I have the original movie. Like, it's so good, and Ethan Hawke is so good. Um, so yeah. So the rest of my notes are kind of bullet points. So bear with me here. First of all, has anyone seen the South Park movie?
Years
Bigger,
ago.
longer, and uncut.
Years ago.
So this is Black Phone 2. What would Brian Boitano do? What would Brian Boitano do if he were here today? I bet he'd kick an ass or two. That's what Brian Boitano would do. That's what I thought the entire time watching this again. I'm like, especially when he formed the skates on his fucking feet.
I was about to say, for people who don't know, Brian Boitano was an American figure skater.
And if you couldn't get there on your own, bless you. But Kellen, add curtains to your today I watched. I don't predict you enjoying it, but
Oh, you're
watch
gonna
it.
hate that shit. I know
Watch
you
it so
will.
you can get a feel of what we're referring to, which I guarantee you have seen in passing on Instagram. Uh, honestly, I feel like that Night Flyer Instagram page has posted it before, but maybe I'm misremembering that. But anyways, that was my fourth note, is curtains. And then of course we have already compared the Nightmare on Elm Street. I love the snow stuff, like you guys have touched on. Like that just adds another element and another layer that I really enjoy. Um, the Thing, Whiteout with Kate Beckinsale. Has anyone seen that?
Mhm. Yeah,
So it's
that was
kind of
good.
it's more like a thriller
It's a
mystery.
thriller. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good, but adding that and then her in
All
the
the
shower
dead
makes it a good
snows.
movie. Yeah, like just that setting is great. I loved that. Um, no one's touched on the dad, Jeremy Davies. I adore Jeremy Davies. He's from Lost, Ravenous, which we have done on this show. He was licking me in Ravenous, that guy. He's in Justified. I think he's Dickie Bennett, maybe.
He
Dewey
played
Crow and Dickie Bennett. I think he's Dickie Bennett in Justified.
he played Charles Manson in a made-for-TV movie that got a lot of acclaim.
Recently?
No, like 20 years ago.
Okay. He's great, and he just has that. He's like a Temu Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the
Kind
way
of,
he
yeah.
talks, his mannerisms. Anyways, he's great. So let's go back to my other title, Black Phone 2, Kids Say the Darndest Things. And I don't remember. I watched the first one in October I made Lindsay watch it. She enjoyed it. I think it's a 4.5 star movie for me. I think TJ, you said 4. I think it's fantastic. But I don't remember her cussing that much in that one. Maybe she probably did. I think you already said she did. But this one, it's too much. It's unbecoming, and it's like you're trying too hard. There were 2 lines that I thought were amazing. And yes, I have them written down, and they were both towards the Christian Karen, where she calls her a judgmental cunt wagon. And then she's like, "Have you always been such a sanctimonious twat?" That was fantastic. Like, I love those 2 lines, but the others, it's too much. Like, you don't need
You
6
know
or
that was
7.
just something that Scott wanted to say to some of his Christian friends.
Well,
I'm
and it's
sure.
like, does a 15-year-old know sanctimonious? Like, who talks that way at 15?
No.
Right.
That's the
Yeah.
key, right?
I
It's
taught
the
high
age thing.
school. No one knows
Nobody.
that word.
No, no.
Yeah, it was just too over the top for me. But still, the Grabber's one of the greatest villains of all time. I think top 20 for sure. I don't know if he can go much higher than that. I do have one fun fact. So, the kid who played Finn, he is the first actor since Jim Carrey in 1994 to have 3 #1 movies in 1 year.
What?
So he had How to Train Your Dragon, he had
Oh,
this,
it was the-
and then he had the Regretting You with McKenna Grace. And honestly, the only reason that was #1 is because nothing else came out that weekend.
I've never even heard of that.
I never
It's
heard
based
of
on
that
it's based on a book. The only reason I know is because McKenna Grace.
My wife loved the other How You Train Your Dragon with the real people.
So I haven't seen the live action one yet. I have it downstairs, but I haven't watched it. So, with that being said, what were Jim Carrey's 3 number one movies in 1994?
Pet Detective, Dumb and Dumber, and The Mask.
Liar, liar.
Ding, ding, ding. No, TJ,
Liar,
The
Liar was
Mask.
97.
That's such a boring movie.
TJ nailed it. And when I saw that, I'm like,
That was
and I
his breakout year too. Like that
Yeah.
put him on the map.
And I was looking back again. I can't remember this kid's name, but he's pretty solid. Like I'm excited to see where he goes. The girl's good too. It's Violet McGraw's older sister, the girl from Megan, the Megan franchise.
Mm-hmm.
That's her sister. I was telling John before everybody else got on, like if you close your eyes, their voice is almost exactly the same. But anyways, all that to say, this isn't a bad movie by any means. Yeah, it's a movie. I think I already pre-ordered the Steelbook because that's how I do. I have a problem, but the setting, Ethan Hawke, the grabber himself. When you take away the silly aspects of it, this is still a good film. I do struggle with the rating. I think it's gotten lower each time. But again, we're trying to pick up these things, and when we really sit down and think about it, like this is a movie that should be enjoyed, like you guys have discussed, in the background, or even if you're just sitting and watching it and paying full attention, you don't need to deep dive, right? Because when you do that, that's when you're going to find things like, well, what?
This ain't a dissecting movie.
No.
This
And-
is like Dream Warriors. It's
Yeah,
fun.
and I don't understand.
But Dream
how he
Warriors
gets-
makes sense.
Well, that's
It
true.
does. It makes 100% sense.
I don't understand how he gets stronger with 3 dead kids at this camp. Like, why is he stronger at
Because
this
it's
camp?
more than 2.
I guess
Right.
that's. But how many did he have from the original? Also, and this is the last thing I'll say that didn't make sense, and I'll have to think about how to word it. So there was the scene. Again, we said it earlier, but this is a pretty big spoiler. So there's a scene where the mom is hanging from the garage, right? So the grabber is driving the van. The grabber is in the back of the van with Gwen, right? His mask changes when they get out of that van.
Yeah, it's full again.
Yeah. Intentional or mistake? My money's on mistake in that particular scenario, but how the hell does that work? How does it work? It doesn't make any sense. It's pissing me off thinking about it now, like all the different things that like you have to sit down and think about. And I even tried to Google some of them. I don't really think there's a solid answer. Would I watch a third one? Yes. Do I want a third one? No. Leave it alone. Because you've already, in my mind, you've already tarnished that first film a little bit by making another one, which also is what's so confusing about Joe Hill being so involved in it. What I would like
It
to
didn't
see,
need to be made. I
Right.
think that's universal.
and this is a deep cut, but I often frequent Ollie's. They have a nice little comic book section, and Joe Hill had a comic book called Bag Full of Heads or Basket Full of Heads.
Mm-hmm.
I want that to become a series. Check it out. It's like $7 at Ollie's, and it's
You ever seen eight heads in a duffel bag with Joe
I
Pesci?
have. That was a Dollar Tree Blu-ray I found
Oh, wow.
a couple years ago. But he's got and again, is he Stephen King? Is he his daddy? No, probably not. But he's got some good work that I would like to see instead of, hey, let's do Grabber 2, and here's the catch. Guys, come here. He's calling from hell this time, guys. Hell. News for you, Joe Hill. We're already in hell. We live in hell. Earth is hell. America is hell. But do something else like that because that's such a unique idea. Again, Basket Full of Heads. Check it out if you haven't. You can get it at your local Ollie's if you have one. But anyways, that's it for me. That's all I've got. So we'll go around, give our ratings, and close up shop. Who went first? John, you went first. What you got for your rating, bud?
I don't know. I was thinking about it. I'd have to think about Dream Warriors now. The more I think about it, I feel like Dream Warriors did make a lot of sense, but it's possible I'm being favorable to Freddy. I don't know. I don't hate it. I think the winter setting is fun. I just expect a lot more from Scott Derrickson. I expect a lot more for $30 million on a budget. I think that's the part of the problem is that I think nowadays we're so forgiving to things now because we want things to be great. And it's like these filmmakers are getting a lot of money, right? They're not getting a little bit of it. They're getting a lot of money. And I just feel like $30 million is more money than anyone should have to make a great horror film, right? And it's like, when something like this happens and the script is a mess, and it seems like Scott Derrickson was half stoned when he wrote it, didn't keep up with the plot lines, has no plan to answer any of this shit. I guarantee you he doesn't. I guarantee you he just probably thinks, we'll figure that out later on his notes. He's cosplaying as Freddy Krueger, Ethan Hawke is. And I think the first one is so good because it's more of a true crime type film. And I think you actually get to see Ethan Hawke act. And I think him being that person is more real. And I think that's one that works, in my opinion, why it works so much better. So I don't hate it. It's a fun movie to watch in the back, but for me, it's a 2.5. These filmmakers need to learn. They need to stop and they need to get better. And I just feel like if I don't shit their ratings a little bit, they're gonna just keep doing this. They need to be held up to a standard for that kind of money. So
And that's a good point too. Like we didn't touch on that. Like Ethan Hawke is basically just a voice in this, right? And a body. He's such a fantastic actor, and he was so underutilized in this movie.
Yeah.
So, TJ.
Yeah, they really should have given us more Ethan Hawke because he is the character. He is the driving force to even want to visit this movie, and to have not even introduced him until you're half or more of the way through the movie is kind of a misstep. But as we said, there were a number of missteps. It's clear this was a rush job, probably rushed into production. And I didn't even think about the budgetary level. Like $30 million, that is a what they used to call a mid-range budget film. But now that they're making movies with stars in them for $5 to $10 million, that's like a solid. There almost is no mid-range budget films anymore. It's all like low budget and blockbuster hundreds of millions of dollars movies, nothing in between, which most of the films we grew up watching were somewhere in between. But $30 million, man, to put that into perspective, the first two David Gordon Green Halloween movies, Halloween Kills, were 10 apiece. And that was with stars. This movie was almost the entire budget cost of the whole David Gordon Green Halloween trilogy. How
I like to think that
that?
20 million went to Ethan Hawke.
that's
Well-
possible. That's definitely possible.
Well,
I don't
Ethan
know.
Hawke
I
and
looked it up.
Scott
It was more
Derrickson.
back end deals. He didn't really make a lot for the role.
worth
It
it.
was back end stuff.
I mean, I would have assumed that Ethan and Scott Derrickson both, with his pedigree now as a director, being in Marvel movies and whatnot, that they would have took a lot of it. But I could also see him negotiating points on the back end too, just to get it made. Movies are stinking expensive now. It's ridiculous. But I did like this movie. It is deeply flawed. I will probably revisit it at some point down the line. But I thought it was fun. I give it 3 stars.
I forgot he did Doctor Strange.
Yeah, he did.
Oh yeah,
But
he did.
same writers too, him and
Yeah.
whatever his name is, Cargill. So I'm sorry, what'd you say you gave it, TJ?
3.
3. All right, Kellen.
I give the original 4 for context.
So, this is a hard one.
It is, isn't it? That's in my notes. Like I struggle with this rating.
And I get what y'all are saying. Like you could have left it at 1. I think you could have made a trilogy if you had a better reason. I feel like they left off. I feel like it would have been an easier route, but it also would have been a better route to have the mask be magical, like some kind of demonic properties or something. And that's why he comes back. I think then if you make it more like he's kind of like a returned ghost and not some kind of like spirit realm entity from hell, because he makes a comment that he's in hell, but I guess they get vacations, so they can go back and torment people. But I feel
So
like
basically make the horror version of The Mask.
They get
well,
PTO in hell.
not so much that, but just like the mask is, I mean, it's almost like attached to him in this one. So it's becoming almost like it's taking over. So more of like, I don't know, the mask from Goosebumps.
Oh right,
Oh,
haunted
I like
mask.
that.
Yeah,
I like
Yeah.
that. The one Jay's got a shirt of now.
Yeah.
it's nice.
So I feel like if they'd have gone that route, because then in the third one it could have gone into more lore behind the mask. I think if you make him more physical of an entity instead, because I mean the scene in hindsight, the scene where Finney is smashing his head into the ice is goofy, right? It's just ice cubes are flowing up and nobody knows what's going on. He's just hammering nothing into the ice, and it's making a dent. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like it was rushed. I feel like they and if Hill was involved, I feel like it's what Jay said. He probably was like, "Hey, I got this idea," and they're like, "Yeah, we got it from here, bud.
Right.
Go sit down. We had a writer's strike, and they've got certain rights now, so you don't get to partake in that." Um, and then some millennials or Gen Z people were like, "Bruh, I got a great idea. What if you like come skating up? That'd be totally cool, right?" Maybe it was Kyle Mooney. God knows his mind is stupid anyway.
You leave Kyle alone.
Was this a
Listen.
Kyle Mooney movie secretly?
Secretly, he was like Ghost Rider. Oh my God, guys, you know what would be really cool? What if he was like invisible? And they're like, "That's great, Kyle." And they threw him some pizza rolls, and he went in the corner. Like, anyway, I don't hate this movie. I don't know that I'll go back to it for any reason unless somebody's like, "Hey, I want to watch Black Phone too," i.e. my wife. And I'll be like, "Okay." Um, but I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. It just has a whole lot of flaws, and it's when you compare it to the first, it so underperforms. So 2.5. I think the first one would be a 4 if we ever get to there. I'll go ahead and spoil that, but
Yeah. That puts us, I gave it a 3. That puts it 2.75, a 3 overall. But I give it a 3 because, like I said, the setting, Ethan Hawke, and because it's a legacy project, so to speak, because it's a character that just jumped onto the scene and kind of blew our minds, right? Like, we all agree the first one is a 4.5 movie. So
What'd you give this one again, John?
2.5.
Yeah, I would give the original probably a 4. This one I'd give 2.5. Yeah.
How, I can't remember how he died in the first one.
I couldn't either.
He was like choking him or something, or what was it?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, telephone
think-
cord, right?
With the telephone, of course, with the telephone.
You got to do a double tap, or he'll come back and get you from hell.
But it was like a string of
He'll just
things.
do the
It wasn't just
smiling
one-
John
It wasn't
Cena
just
tap.
one thing. It was all the build up from the movie of the different way the kids were
Yeah.
kind of telling him to do things, and so it was
Yeah.
the ice box, and then it was the dog, and then it was the phone cord. So it was a
Yeah.
progression of things.
I'm interested in what his body count was too. And
In
like,
this one, 0.
well, I mean, in general and overall, because
Because he started at camp.
how many like
apparently, all
who
those
who
years
gets
ago.
the phone privileges if you're one of the ghosts? Like, all right, it's my turn to call him. You know, like
I think I
Ricky
saw it was
Boys.
7 total, maybe.
Okay.
Is his name
3 in this
Bill?
one,
4 in the first one, 3 in
with
this
the
one.
mom counting as one of them.
Oh yeah,
Oh well, yeah, maybe
the brother.
But how
Yeah,
many
killed
dead
him. I
guess
kids
the
were at
brothers,
the
so-
camp?
3.
Yeah, because they were pulling the 3 barrels out. He killed
Right.
2 of them and burned 1 in the oven.
What the shit is a winter camp? What is that? Have y'all ever heard of that?
It's because it's like a conversion camp, and in the summer everyone's hot and sweaty, and that gets them all riled up. So they keep them in the winter, so the boners stay down. John, pay attention. Did you not go to Christian school?
It's-
Is that a,
It's
is that
so-
a real? No, legit. Is that a real thing? I
It's-
swear, I'm asking.
Do not listen to this man.
I thought
It's
you were
so-
being serious.
It's so their wieners will shrivel up in the cold and they can't do anything with them.
I legit thought you were being serious. I was like, oh, that's a real thing.
Oh
Holy
my
shit.
God! Like the kids keep having sex with each
Conversion
other in the
camp
summer.
is a thing.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing. One, it could be, I guess those camps could exist in like Alaska and shit, but they were
Yeah.
there training. So
But
maybe
that's just
they
called
trained
camp.
in the
That's
winter for some stupid reason and then came back during the summer. I don't know. That just another, like, what are the rules? What are the rules of this stupid ass Christian camp? So, anyways, Black Phone 2, 3. They'll remake it eventually, call it The White Phone. We'll see what happens there. Instead of the Grabbers, the Toucher. But we'll see. So that's it for this episode. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to wherever you're listening to this podcast. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and join our Facebook group that no one really partakes in besides the people who are on this screen. So, and Amazon Music playlist, put some music from this movie on there. Despite despite 2 of the 4's hatred for the Y2K movie, which we just did, some of those songs were bangers. They are also on that playlist, so go check it out.
Oh, that soundtrack was 10 times better than the movie itself.
Not wrong. I will not argue with that one.
That's fair.
Come back next week. I'm not sure what we're going to do. We have The Thing down, but Chris Killian from comicbook.com, originally the G4 gaming channel back in the day, if you're our age, wants to do that one with us. So we're going to kind of work around his schedule. So we may do that one when it's a little bit warmer. We'll see. But The Thing is coming soon, and I'm excited to do that one. I know we're all going to fucking hate it. So
Well, when you said we were doing a chilly movie season, the first thing that come to my mind was just a random thought was Chili McFreeze. Does anybody know who Chili
Stone
McFreeze
Cold
was?
Steve Austin. Was
That
that what you're talking about?
That was one of the
Yeah.
Vince McMahon ideas for branding Steve Austin's new character.
Oh, that
Instead
would
of
have
Stone
been
Cold, it was
awful.
Chili McFreeze.
And that's
sounds
the
like-
ice cream cone because Chili McFreeze said so.
That sounds like a convenience store mascot where you can go and get a hot dog and an icy. But
You
all
just see him with his blonde comb over and an ice cream cone.
right, signing off. I'm Jay with John, Kellen, and TJ. And until next time.
Keep it spooky.